Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to another live show. And if you're watching this at approximately, well, about 1 o'clock p.m. New York City time on February the 18th, and this is a live show. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop in here. Got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about on President's Day. That's right, it's President's Day 2019. So, you know, a few things. Obviously, we'll have we're hoping there'll be new drones soon. A lot of activity in the camera world. We've got obviously the the Sony Alpha, the Sony A7 III, which is a base model camera. And let me grab that right now here. Yeah, the Sony A7 III, which is a base model camera, but it's it's a camera for video, for photo. I mean, it's super duper high end in its performance. So a lot of people are waiting for the Sony A7S III, and personally, I don't see that the S3 is going to be that big of a deal. I mean, this base model, A7 III, and I think it's funny they call it a base model, but it's everything but base. And, you know, having the in-body image stabilization, having the full frame sensor, you know, being able to use Sony FE mount lenses, which are the full frame Sony lenses. Pair this thing with this right here, and I don't know why Sony, and I love the G Master. G Master is a great lens series. But why Sony couldn't have made the G Master to be as well balanced and somewhat small and somewhat lightweight like this Tamron. This Tamron right here is an awesome lens, but it's it's not made by Sony. It's made by Tamron. But I like the performance for a zoom lens. I like the performance of this Tamron better than I do the 24-70 G Master. And a lot of that is influenced by the size and the weight. You know, this is somewhat heavy, but it's not too big and it's not too heavy. I can put my A7 III on my tripod, and I don't feel like it's going to fall forward. And likewise, if I'm using this lens, typically I'm going to shoot with prime lenses that are a fixed focal length, lenses that don't zoom. But when I don't want to deal with swapping lenses in the field, you know, maybe it's a really sandy or dusty environment, and anytime that I change a lens, I run the risk of introducing dust into my mirrorless camera body sensor. And if you've ever had dust in your Sony Alpha, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, it can be somewhat devastating, especially if it's kind of semi-moist dust, so it gets in there and then it kind of sticks. And then even if you are able to blow it off, that it leaves some sort of residue. So, you know, for that reason, there's a lot of advantages to using a zoom lens such as this Tamron. But I mean, it's a cool lens. The only minor gripe that I have is that the bokeh, the defocus background, and this is being super nitpicky, but the defocus background, the bokeh that this f2.8 Tamron produces, doesn't look quite as I guess the word would be, and again, it's open to interpretation, but a lot of people would say that the bokeh from the Tamron f2.8 looks a little bit more distracting than the bokeh from the Sony G Master 24-70. And again, that's totally subjective. There may be people that prefer the look of the Tamron's bokeh over the Sony G Master 24-70. You know, and with that being said, this is a phenomenal lens, especially when you look at the price point. and again, the size and the weight. And some people said, oh man, 28 millimeters is not wide enough. Well, I found 28 to be wide enough for most scenarios. And again, like I do, I'm traveling with 25 millimeter prime lens, Zeiss prime, 85 millimeter Zeiss prime for portrait, and then this in the middle. And then I've got a 50 millimeter Zeiss prime manual focus for other tasks as well. So this is a great lens to add to the arsenal. If you're looking for a great camera solution for stills and/or video, 4K video, I must say, this thing is a real beast, and I've really enjoyed it. You can check out my hashtag Maine Coon Monday series, and I'm filming all of those videos now with the A7 III. But it's just a really good camera solution. And yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff that's come out recently. One of those things is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. So Blackmagic has released a Cinema E or Sony E-mount lenses, if you don't want to get the full frame. But the Blackmagic Design 4K Pocket Cinema camera looks like a beast, and it'll do 4K 60. Again, the expected Sony A7S III, it's expected to do 4K 60 as well. But once you enter an ecosystem, whether it's Canon or hold on, I got some congestion here. Let me pause this. Yeah, once you enter a camera ecosystem, whether it's Canon or Nikon or Panasonic, you often get you get to where, well, you're buying all these lenses, zoom lenses, prime lenses, and you don't want to switch. And for that reason, I finally found the camera body and the types of lenses that I like. Although I'm curious about the 4K Blackmagic Design Pocket Cinema camera. Although I'm curious about it because I'm so heavily invested in Sony lenses, Sony and Zeiss lenses, and third-party lenses for the Sony E-mount system, that it's hard for me personally to branch out and use any of those new, well, not new, but any of those other camera manufacturers. And then there's people that are the other way. They're in love with Canon, they're in love with Nikon, but for me it's Sony. I mean, I can just, for photo and video, I can get rock solid results, and I can eliminate all the guesswork. With some of the other cameras, including the and I enjoyed the Panasonic Lumix GH4 back in the day. I was able to capture some really good 4K video with it, but it took a lot more effort. And for someone like myself that just wants to capture the videos and/or the still photos and eliminate the guesswork, this is Sony has just been a real, it's just been a real treat using it instead of those other camera manufacturers. So yeah, cameras in 2019 are going to be a big thing. Obviously, beyond cameras, drones. DJI is overdue when it comes to DJI Phantom. If they're not going to abandon the DJI Phantom platform, which would be kind of silly considering it's kind of how they got their how they established their fame and became the most popular drone manufacturer out there. But if they are going to release a new DJI Phantom, whether it's Phantom 5 or whether they want to call it Phantom X or something completely different, they need to go ahead and do it. Because like most any product, if there's too much of a delay in release cycle, what happens is that manufacturer runs the risk of people losing interest in that product. So, if they release too rapidly, people can become immune. They can say, oh, look at iPhones, for example. People are still buying them, but a new iPhone comes out, it's like people don't really care anymore because there's such minor refreshes to the phone itself. And that's the thing, DJI, they're good about, there for a while, they were putting out, they did the Mavic Pro platinum, and then they had the Phantom 4 obsidian. You know, they played with these different colors and trying to use a color as a way to suggest that it's something new. When in reality, it was just pretty much the same drone with a few minor refreshes. But what DJI's done recently with the Phantom is that they've waited so long without releasing another Phantom that they could potentially, if they plan to release another Phantom, they could potentially be putting themselves at risk. Because when you have such an extended period of silence, you know, being a product manufacturer, when you have such an extended period of silence, the risk that's involved is that a lot of your people can start to drop off. So people that would have been interested in that Phantom and may still be interested in that new Phantom 5 or Phantom X, whatever they want to call it, if they've lost interest because of the extended period of silence, they may not be immediately aware that, hey, a new Phantom's come out. So, you know, for that reason, I think that DJI really needs to get off their tails and give us something. You know, are they going to release a Phantom 5? Are they not? Tell us. Tell us what your plans are. Because there's no arguing the fact that Mavic 2, the Mavic 2 Pro in particular, is the best drone on the market today. I mean, it's got a 1-inch sensor, excellent low light performance, excellent image quality, excellent color saturation. If they could just get that autofocus on that thing to work flawlessly, like it does with the still awesome but not quite as awesome Mavic Air, if they could make that Mavic 2 Pro's camera behave with autofocus as well as the Mavic Air does, I think they would, without a doubt, I mean they already do, but they would even have a better drone. I mean, the number one drone on the market today would be even better, you know, if they could achieve that. So hopefully from a future Mavic 2 drone, hopefully DJI will iron that out. And you know, not that it's a problem. I mean, you set your Mavic 2 Pro to manual focus, following the instructions that I posted on my website, epicdroneshow.com, and you know, that's worked well for me. I can get consistent 4K 30 video. You know, just super razor sharp, no focusing issues, no focus breathing. You know, that sort of wonkiness. So it's you know, it's a good thing. But yeah, the big thing here on IrixGuy's Adventure Channel in 2017 is really getting becoming even more proficient with 4K video, and we may even start to see. And again, this channel, IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, was one of the first adopters of 4K video. You know, I started filming exclusively in 4K, despite, you know, a few live broadcasts here and there, or something I may pop out a camera and film with, or a camera phone rather, and just film something out in the field and not want to upload in 4K. But, you know, that was the biggest thing, was adopting 4K early on. And I took a lot of grief for it. People were like, man, dude, you know, the TVs now, they're not even, you know, everybody's still using 1080p, dude. Why are you doing 4K? Look back. Look back now. Most every TV out there is, you know, people that have bought one recently, they probably got a 4K. Because they probably realize that nowadays that a 4K TV is probably about the same price, if not less expensive, than the previous generation 1080p TV models. You know, so for that reason, future-proofing this content here on IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, you know, it was forward-looking vision. You know, I knew that the content had to be in 4K, because now you can watch videos of mine a few years old and they don't seem outdated because they were filmed and edited in 4K. So it begs the question, in 2019 or maybe 2020, when are the 8? And I know there's cameras out there that already do 8K, but when is 8K going to start to become affordable enough where YouTube content creators like myself can invest heavily in 4K, or I'm sorry, 8K video camera equipment and start publishing their videos in 8K. Sure, 8K TVs right now are you know, they're not realistic. I mean, they're super expensive. But if the cameras required to film those 8K productions become more affordable, once they become affordable, that'll be the time, in my opinion, to start creating and publishing content in 8K to better future-proof. Even if I'm not watching it in 8K, I'm watching it on my old obsolete 4K TV that, is a bargain basement deal. That's fine. If I'm publishing in 8K, whomever's actually watching in 8K, they're getting the 8K experience at that point in time. I don't care about myself. I'm the content creator. So, being the content creator, all that I care about is that I'm delivering content that the viewer, when they watch it, if they've got a fancy TV or they've got an inexpensive smartphone on a cellular connection, that they're able to watch my content and it's able to scale to be optimized on their device. If I published everything nowadays in 720 or 1080, I'd be putting myself, a technological step backwards, because I would be delivering content that wouldn't be up to snuff for the people that are using 4K or better displays. So, something to, as a content creator, something to take into consideration. So, that's my 8K, 4K video rant. And, wanted to remind everyone, the last live show that I had a few days ago, Epic Drone Show. Want to thank everyone for all of the super chats. I think it was three super chats during that last Epic Drone Show episode. So if you haven't done a super chat yet, again, it's not required. But if you choose to do so, it's tremendously appreciated. And, you can do it. Because this is a live show. You can select super chat. And if you choose to do that, you can. That's a super chat is a new YouTube feature that YouTube is really encouraging their content creators like myself to take advantage of. So if you're watching this live show now and you want to check out Super Chat, feel free to check it out, and I'll do something really funny to congratulate you for doing Super Chat. But anyway, yeah. So 2019 is going to be an interesting year. People that aren't necessarily familiar with the production world, people that aren't necessarily familiar with the product or release cycle realm, the beginning of a year is often a weird time, because it's the end of the year is typically where companies consume most, if not all, of their advertising budget, because they're trying to spend to sell those products that they released during the previous year, and they're trying to get that product or products in front as many phases. They're trying to get their products in front of as many faces as possible before the end of the year, because the end of the year arguably is one of the peak shopping seasons. They're gifting themselves. People are trying to find gifts to give to others. So, those the companies that are creating those products, they're trying to heavily promote and sell before the end of the year. But then when the new year rolls around, January, it's kind of a weird time, because most all of those companies have consumed most, if not all, of their advertising budgets. So when the new year rolls around, where we are right now, January, February, it's kind of a weird time period, because people, they're kind of in that build phase again. Meaning that, okay, well, we made it through the holidays, we sold well, we sold poorly, we consumed most, if not all, of our advertising budget. What do we do next? What's new for the new year? So January, February, first few months, typically when businesses are going out and they're saying, hey, we want to bring this to market. Oh, what's all right? We want to, what do you think will sell well? Blah, blah, blah. So they start building and designing. And then once they do that, then they release. So I'm hoping, looking at this from a DJI perspective, hopefully by March or April, hopefully we see a new drone. Again, the Mavic 2 Pro, awesome drone. In my opinion, my professional opinion, Mavic 2 Pro is the best drone on the market today. Today being February the 18th of 2019. But, it's time for that next drone. We're hobbyists. We're excited about playing with a new drone. So give us the new drone. You know, DJI come out and say, hey, we're going to release that. You know, so hopefully that's going to hit us soon, because I know I'm ready. I mean, I've got my camera equipment, and I've got my grassy field, and I just want a new drone to take out there and fly and have fun and share. I mean, that's all it is just, you know, having a good time with the drone and you know, sharing those adventures with everyone. I mean, that's what IrixGuy's Adventure Channel is all about. You know, it's taking a cool product. It's taking that cool product out in the field and showcasing what it can or can't do. And does it do a good job? Does it do a poor job? What does it do? And for that to happen, there's got to be a new product. So that's what I'm waiting on right now, is a new drone from DJI. Got a lot of people tuning in here. I know this is kind of a weird time for a live show, but it is President's Day 2019, and want to encourage everyone, check out my website, IrixGuy.com, or you can just go to epicdroneshow.com. Check out all the excellent President's Day deals on my website for drones, cameras, and a whole lot more. Just go to IrixGuy.com or epicdroneshow.com. I got some people commenting here. And we got Tom. Tom says, do you have a Crystal Sky? And he says, rumor is that DJI is coming out with Crystal Sky 2 soon. You know, it looked like a nice display. And, you know, I never picked up Crystal Sky. And I haven't picked up the controller for Mavic 2 with integrated screen yet. And part of it is just, you know, the desire exists. You know, I want the really high quality screen, so I don't have to use, you know, nothing wrong with my iPhone 7 Plus, but I'd rather not use it to fly my drone if I could. And the reason being, I don't want to drain my phone's battery when I'm flying my drone. And secondly, if I happen to drop it, I'm, you know, dropping my phone as well as my screen for my drone. So if DJI can reduce the price for that, I would definitely be interested. I mean, there's certain things when it comes to drones that I want to experiment with, but because of the excessive cost, I personally can't justify it. I mean, being an independent YouTube channel, there's certain things that I can say, okay, you know, that is a must. You know, I've got to get that. I've got to play with that, see what it can do, what it can't do. But there's certain things that I guess I would say would be classified as my wish list. And those wish list items are the items like the new Mavic 2 controller with integrated screen, and then also, like you were mentioning, the Crystal Sky or the upcoming Crystal Sky 2. You know, if these were more affordable devices, I'd be all over it. Because I think, you know, having that integrated screen is a huge advantage. It's a luxury. It's not a necessity, though. So, you know, being an independent YouTuber, there's certain things I had to pass up. But just a reminder to everyone, you know, feel free to support me on Patreon if you choose to do so. You can find within this video's description a link there to where you can choose to support me on Patreon. Not required, but tremendously appreciated. Also, you know, for all of your drone accessories, check out my website. Links are in this video's description. You can find it. You can find it all there, and also merchandise. You know, there's official IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, and also official Epic Drone Show merchandise. You can find on my website, and it's available through Amazon.com. How cool is that? So if you go to Amazon and you search for IrixGuy, you'll find my T-shirts. If you go to Amazon and you search for Epic Drone Show, you'll find my T-shirts. So that was one of those things during 2018. You know, being a small channel, you know, having the ability to, you know, despite being an independent and small YouTube channel, I was able to get my products on Amazon, which I thought was super sweet. So Tom says, thanks for your comments. Fully understand. No problem, man. I mean, I just, this channel, I like to keep it real because, obviously there are some channels that may receive products to review. And that's the thing I steer clear of, because when I'm reviewing stuff, number one, I want it because I enjoy it myself. And number two, I don't want to feel like I've got to throw out all this silly verbiage and this, that, and the other if I'm reviewing a product. I want to review something that, hey, I went out and bought it. I may or may not like this, but here's the experience. And then that way I don't have a pledge of allegiance to anyone. I can tell you it's great. I can tell you it's horrible. Whatever I want to do. And that's the beauty of being an independent YouTuber. So, but that's the beauty of it. That the disadvantage is not having the marketing budget that some of these larger YouTube channels have. But it's one of those things. It's like, do you want to? Like I've told people at several, professional meetups, is, do you want to have the status and not have the creative control? Or do you want to retain the creative control with the opportunity to grow your own status over time? Whether it's the music industry, the YouTube industry, a lot of types of industries, if someone takes the easy road, or what they feel is the easy road, to fast track their success, often what they're doing early on is writing their own failure, because they're going into an agreement to where going forward, initially they may see tremendous growth. Initially they may see a flood of exposure because of this agreement they've made. But over the long haul, as that starts to fizzle, they probably quickly realize that, now I'm locked into whatever agreement with whatever organization. So, now I lack creative control, blah, blah, blah. So if they were still an independent producer, whether it's a musician or a YouTuber or whatever, they would themselves be able to control their future. Meaning that if they were failing, they could say, you know what? I'm gonna explore this content, or I'm gonna explore blah, blah, blah. And they would have complete creative control and be able to do that. By being locked into an agreement with a music company or a multi-channel network or whatever, their creative control is then gimped. So if that controlling body, because they're in a contract with them, if that controlling body says, well, we want this content, we want this subject matter, they're doomed. Because if that's what they want, and they continue to produce that subject matter for that controlling body, and it's failing, they have no way out of it. So they're just continuing to produce content that's failing. The controlling body is taking a large percentage of all their earnings, and so they're stuck. And it's just the demise of something that could have been something great. So, back to the question from fellow YouTubers and musicians, it's like, hey, how do I get exposure? I've heard, you can join this or you can join that, and I know some people that did this, and God, look at how many subscribers and how many video views they have now. I caution everyone. It's one of those things you can see that, and it may be effective. It could be effective for a short period of time, for that matter. You may get lucky and it may be effective for the long haul. But, signing away some or all of a person's creative control is a scary thought. And again, I will remain independent. I am approached on a weekly basis by multi-channel networks. Nothing wrong with that. But multi-channel networks on a weekly basis or so, like, hey, we want you to partner up. Here's our incentives. You get free music. You get free free thumbnail design. You get blah, blah, blah. You know, they've got a laundry list. And I'm like, I don't want any of that. And they're like, well, why not? Can we do this? Can we do that? Can we? No. I want 100% creative control. Now, how am I going to retain that? And then they're just destroyed at that point because they're like, well, you know, we can't do that. Obviously, they can't because they're in the business of making money. You know, they're out. They're going out, and granted, it may help some people. Some people that lack the ability to perform their own due diligence and find these tools, find quality royalty-free music, find out how to make a quality thumbnail, find out how to do your own green screen studio, your own intro and outro graphics. You know, self-exploration, figuring it out, and templating those processes. You know, most people can do that, but people that don't possess those abilities, that multi-channel network could be a good option. But again, keep in mind, creative control, 100% creative control is a powerful thing. So, you know, this was several people had asked me this, and it's just, I mean, this channel is it's not that big, but it is approaching 50 million video views, and it is approaching 70,000 subscribers. So, you know, again, subscribe, share, and help me grow. We've got Adam here. He says, Adam did a review with his e-bike and got almost 45,000 hits. I was shocked. I like that you stay indie. Dude, I appreciate that. And see, Adam, that's awesome, man. You had one video for your e-bike, and you were able to achieve that amount of growth. So, you know, that's what's so cool about this stuff. You know, you've got that, and then you can use that as kind of the springboard. It's like, okay, well, you know, what are the how-tos that I can create for e-bike? What are the hidden features for e-bike? You know, what can I use in conjunction with my e-bike to make the e-bike experience even more exciting? What do I wear when I ride my e-bike in cold weather? What do I wear when I ride my e-bike in hot weather? Well, when I'm riding my e-bike to work, how do I ride my e-bike to work and not look ratty when I get to work? So, I mean, you know, Adam, that's awesome. And, dude, this channel, this independent channel, just like yours, it started with a cruise ship video. How to drink cheap on a cruise ship. I was on a cruise. I was broke. Okay. You know, I want to have some drinks. So how am I going to do it? And, you know, I'm not saying that people that watch this channel have to drink, but, you know, in the scenario of how to drink cheap on a cruise ship, it was beneficial for a lot of people because people were going on cruises. They're like, well, wow, you know, I got this super deal. You know, I'm on this big boat for 7 nights or whatever, and this is so much less expensive than other types of vacations. What people don't realize, if they do choose to enjoy a few beverages on that during that cruise, that what could have been a very affordable experience with a lot of haggling and planning ahead, then turns out to be a very expensive experience, an unexpectedly expensive experience, because that's where they make their money. But yeah, it was just how to drink cheap on a cruise ship, and that video got some traction. The time YouTube partner program was by invitation only, and they came to me. They're like, "Hey, do you want to join this?" And I'm like, you know, I'm not. Usually, I would think something like that would be spam, but since it came from Google, I'm like, yeah, I'll check into this. And then that just sparked this. You know, anything that can be videoed, anything that provides some sort of value and/or entertainment is worth it. It's definitely worth it. So, yeah, so that's awesome, man. Adam says, unfortunately, my other YouTube videos never get traction, but I love making videos. Well, something you may want to consider, speaking of traction for your other YouTube videos, cross-pollination is a big thing. So if you, for example, you've got your e-bike video, you know, create a video playlist if you haven't done that. create additional e-bike videos. Maybe you do a follow-up review for your e-bike, e-bike review after, let's say, 2 months of use, e-bike review after 1 year. You know, keep it going and cross-pollinate those videos. Utilize the YouTube cards. That's a really cool thing. You know, I found that if I post a video series, then while that video plays, I'll put a card that'll go to another video. So if they like this, they might like that. So in your e-bike example, you know, maybe you're cross-pollinating your other e-bike videos. But maybe there's something similar to e-bike, maybe a drone or something like that, that, you know, that people that like e-bike, well, they might also like this. So if you can kind of blend it all together, because, you know, consumers are often a lot alike. You know, whether you're dealing with, you know, you've got your people that are diehard techies. You know, they probably enjoy drones. If they enjoy drones, they probably enjoy cameras, and vice versa. You know, in the e-bike scenario, you've got someone that's, you know, they like a different type of bike, which they probably also like adventure. And, you know, if you can blend that with any sort of adventure elements, it's just you know, that's the beauty of this, is that you can take your ideas and you can mesh them together in any way that you choose to do so. And, you know, by being an independent content creator, you have complete creative control, and you're able to do that. So it's a very it's a very good experience being able to, you know, in essence, control your own destiny from that perspective. So, you know, I wish you the best of success. And I mean, 45,000, that is by no means a small number. I mean, that is a huge step towards towards incubating a successful YouTube channel. Yeah, we've got tons of tutorials coming soon. One of the things I want to post here is a how to live stream, and, you know, the do's and don'ts of live streaming. Like right now, you can probably see that even though the audio should sound pretty good, you probably see that this particular live stream looks a little bit washed out. The skin color, all of that just doesn't look right, and that's because I've got an outside light source that's polluting the light in my green screen studio. So what I'm going to do, and this is per questions from from several of y'all a few days ago, you know, how do you do live stream? How are you doing this live stream that you're doing right now? And I'm going to package that into a tutorial series, because there's a lot more to it than a fast internet connection. There's a lot more to it than just a camera. There's a lot more to it than just a light. There's a lot more to it than just a green screen. All of this has to come together. And in this scenario now, again, this doesn't look 100% perfect because I do have that light pollution. And that's something I'm going to address with a, and I'll post a tutorial for this, but I'm going to address with a blackout curtain, so that that can be, hopefully that can be hopefully that can be remedied on the cheap. And that's the other thing. Everything on this channel, as far as tutorials and that sort of stuff, I like to gear it towards the, to get the quality on a budget. Because there's a lot of stuff that once you start to learn the tech, and once you start to learn the procedures, you probably start to learn that, God, there's some things that I bought for video production or audio or whatever, that I could have gotten the same results for a fraction of the price. And that's something I want to really invest heavily in here going forward, is, how to get those really pro quality results but not break the bank. And it's one of those things, starting out independent as an independent YouTuber, you probably made a lot of the same mistakes, because it's until you really understand what you need, it's kind of one of those deals, if you're looking at a row of products online or a store or whatever, and there's a subtle price difference among the three, it's often someone feels that something that's a little bit more expensive may be better quality, and that's definitely not the case. Sometimes it is, but not all the time. So, take that into consideration, and try to start when you're building when you're creating a channel. Try to start small and think about everything that you buy as being something that you can build upon. So, if lighting is something that's important, and just because lighting's important doesn't mean you have to get the most expensive lights. I mean, these lights that I've got beside me right now, and again, they're washed out because I got this light pollution, but from the outside. But I mean, they're just cheap softbox lamps. And then my key light is a little bit more expensive, but I put a diffuser over it, and it provides good results. But, think about the long-term goal. Stuff that, if it's something you just buy and you're going to have to replace because it's poor quality, that may not be the best approach. It may be best to get some good stuff that'll hopefully last. And, with cameras, for example, back to and starting out a YouTube channel, you probably don't need something as high-end as a Sony Alpha, but, I mean, I went around the block with cameras. I got nice camcorders. I got prosumer camcorders, which worked well. And then I realized that, with those prosumer camcorders, they were great, but I couldn't change the lens. And then I looked at the video quality of the prosumer camcorder versus something that I filmed with a Sony Alpha with an interchangeable lens, and the quality was night and day. So, for that reason, I've started with, I decided which camera body works best for me, and that's the Sony Alpha. I like their, some people don't, but I do. I like their menu interface. I like the ease of filming high-quality 4K video with autofocus. This A7 III does great autofocus, or I can flip it into manual if I want more creative control. The ability to take high-quality, I mean, just super duper quality photos with this is also nice, and obviously being able to swap out the lenses and have a reasonable expectation that at least hopefully for the next few years that all of these lenses, these Sony E-mount lenses, that I'll be able to hopefully repurpose them with the future Sony Alpha camera bodies that will be being released. So, in that scenario, I'm building my tools arsenal. I'm getting more lenses, but those are lenses that hopefully won't become obsolete anytime soon. So, it's invest as you can into your YouTube venture, but be thinking long term. Is this something that's just going to become obsolete quickly? And if not, it may be something, in this case, lenses, high quality Sony Alpha lenses. It may be something that the better quality benefits you more, because you're investing in better quality lenses with the expectation that hopefully you'll be able to use them for a while, but they're providing the the look for your videos and your thumbnails that sets your content apart from a lot of the other channels, and obviously hopefully something that would rival the video and or photo quality of some of the big, when I say big, I mean multi-million subscriber channels that have huge marketing budgets. Hopefully the content on your channel could come close, if not be the same as the content on those channels, for just a peanut budget. When I say peanuts, I don't mean literally that cheap, but I mean in comparison to these large multi-channel network channels, or celebrity channels that have a seemingly unlimited equipment budget. So, yeah, just a lot of exciting stuff here, and that's the thing. I mean, about YouTube, you can do whatever you choose to do, and it's not for everyone. I mean, this is definitely it's a large time commitment, but it's like most anything else. If you put in little, you typically get little out. And with this, at least I found YouTube to be, one of those experiences where I don't feel like my time's ever wasted. I feel like I'm able to invest time and see the reward in the, from the perspective that it's growing. But I will confess, I'm not anywhere close to where I want to be, and I'm right now on the 65,000, almost 66,000 subscriber mark. I really want to get this past 100,000 as quickly as possible. Part of what's driving that is that when I hit 100,000 subscribers, I should get a silver play button from YouTube, and I just want that. That looks cool. It's like, yeah, you put in a lot of years of hard work. Here's your first trophy. I want to get that, but I mean, ultimately, I need to grow this channel to where, it can be a full-time gig, because I mean, there's a lot of people that do have channels that enable them to be a full-time gig, but with this, it's not to the level yet to where it needs to be. So, again, tell everybody and I'm not doing e-begging. I'm promoting my channel here, but any drone, camera, anything you're looking for, just go to my website. Check the links there. Feel free to support me on Patreon. Let's make this channel grow, because this should become a full-time gig. Because right now, I've got this, but I've got a few other hustles, and it's just, I would rather just have this and it be the full-time gig and not have all these other side hustles. So that's what's going on. And appreciate y'all tuning in on President's Day. I know that's really cool that y'all did this, and stay tuned for a lot of videos. Any sort of content that you're looking for, that you'd like to see me address within upcoming videos, feel free to share your thoughts, and I'll see if I can turn those into future talking points. And again, today, the talking points today were the product of a lot of questions and requests from y'all, my viewers. So thanks for your viewership, and be sure to subscribe and ring that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another video. And you'll be able to find this previously recorded live show and all my other live shows on IrixGuy.com. Live show, IrixGuy's live show. So if you didn't get to watch this in its entirety, you'll be able to see it there within a few hours. And again, check out all the drones, the cameras, the accessories, and a whole lot more. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.